Remember being a kid and caring about the Earth? Maybe you got a tree from your elementary school for Earth Day and you tried planting it. As you grew up, people seem to care less and less about the environment, and inevitably, it's getting worse. I think it's really important to stay educated on the dangers we're nearing. What's the best way to do that? Starting when you're a kid. Fear not. I have a few films in mind that cover this message really well. My name is Sky, and I'm going to talk about some children's movies that talk about environmentalism and even the dangers of capitalism and consumerism. Let's get into it. Starting off at the top, we have Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. This is a certified classic. Made in 1992, Fern Gully became a pretty iconic part of a lot of people's childhoods. In my case, I watched it at my elementary school during, if I had to guess, my science class. Shout out to my science class. This movie isn't subtle about what it's about at all. I mean, just look at the main villain, Hexus, played by the incredible Tim Curry. He's personified pollution. If you somehow haven't seen this film, let me briefly summarize. Fern Gully follows a little fairy colony within the rainforest of Fern Gully. They take care of the trees and nature and protect it from an ancient evil called Hexus that once threatened to destroy it. Eventually, the main character, Krista, travels above the canopy and finds a logging company that is tearing down trees. One thing leads to another, and they tear down the tree that was trapping Hexus, so he escapes and uses the pollution from the machine to grow stronger and try to destroy Fern Gully again. Oh, almost forgot to mention the animal testing. This movie is blatant about the horrors of testing medications, cosmetics, and pesticides on living animals. Batty, played by the late great Robin Williams, sings a whole rap about it. The song is pretty intense in the movie, but there's an extended cut that's even worse. I'll get hit with copyright if I play it now, but I encourage you to look it up if you get the chance. It's the darkest, but honestly the best song in the whole movie. That and Toxic Love, sung by Hexus as he's getting stronger from all the, well, toxic fumes. Animal testing, capitalism, taking away the environment, and greedy humans. Pretty standard environmentalism. The next movie we have to talk about is the iconic and not quite as dark classic, The Lorax. I will be talking about the version of the film that came out in 2012. It's the only one I've seen and it's a meme, so I think it's funny. Memes aside, The Lorax does a pretty good job at showing what exactly we're moving towards if we don't start caring about the effects of consumerism and capitalism. The people of Thneedville live in a plastic city without even naturally breathable air. They literally have to buy their air. Not only that, but every tree, lawn, and even the grass is all pretty much made of plastic or some other fake material. The town is run by a local billionaire, Aloysius O'Hare. Yes, that's his real name. Not to mention the complete 1984 vibes from the government/rich ruling class spying on protagonist Ted because he just might plant a tree. We get a glimpse into seeing just how Thneedville became the way that it is. We see the Wentzler, a young startup who wants to sell his Thneed and become rich and famous. Only problem is that he had to cut down a truffula tree in order to make it. The Lorax showed up and made him promise to stop. From then on, he befriends the Lorax and takes care of the environment with him. That is until he sells his first Thneed. Then, his family rolls up and tells him that individually harvesting the truffula fluff from the trees isn't realistic. Supply wasn't meeting demand. So, they break the promise and chop down trees with How Bad Can I Be, the best song in the film, playing in the background. It gives us a glance into what real corporations think while they're biggering their companies. Lawyers denying, customers buying, money multiplying, lying about helping the homeless/charities, etc. These companies don't care about what or who they hurt. They just care about how much money they can make by exploiting everyone and everything around them. Luckily, there's a mini revolution started by the teenager, Ted, and they plant a tree causing the entire town to see the wasteland that O'Hare helped cultivate after the Wentzler chopped down all the truffula trees. The people had the power to overthrow the greedy capitalist. A perfect ending for a movie making kids care about the environment. It's important to learn to stand up for what's right, no matter who you're standing against. The last movie that I wanted to talk about is kind of what would have happened had O'Hare not been overthrown. This film is, of course, the Disney film WALL-E. This movie is obviously about the horrors of consumerism and capitalism. We see a little robot, WALL-E, being tasked with cleaning up the earth from all the garbage that the humans seemingly left behind. The entire planet is desolate, and there's just products, garbage, and broken down buildings everywhere. Eventually, he meets another robot from the ship that all the humans seemingly escaped on generations ago. WALL-E ends up following the robot, named Eve, back to the ship and finds the humans and the captains, Captain B. McCree. We find out that the captain is kind of being controlled/manipulated by the AI steering wheel on board named Otto. Otto is clearly inspired by HAL 9000 from 2001: Space Odyssey. Common evil AI antagonist. Clearly showing that maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't integrate AI too closely into our society and especially our work. I don't know, I just watch movies and I see the dangers just fine, what do I know? Wally ends up sneaking a plant in a boot onto the ship and Otto tries to destroy it. We see all the other humans who are all pretty much chair-bound because they're terribly overweight from everything they've been consuming on the ship. A lot of them have even grown up here because they've been in space for so long, they're practically helpless. But eventually they stand against Otto and they go back down to Earth and see what they left behind. But the good news is they plant and start to take back the Earth after they just about destroyed it. This shows that it's never too late to start caring about the environment and making up for the mistakes of previous generations' mishandling of waste, pollution, and destruction of the ozone layer. Anywho, that's the best examples I can find from movies I personally watched as a kid. Go back and rewatch some of these movies as an adult. You'll see that it was never that subtle, especially Fern Gully. I can't force you to care about the environment or consumerism, but I hope that these movies at least make you think about the possible consequences of what the big dogs up top are doing to this planet. I just want you to be open-minded. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay animated, Indiana.
Over the years, anime has blessed us with so much stuff to enjoy. Peak animation, beautiful art style, action-packed plot, lovable characters, and of course, the wicked sick transformations. Especially the transformations, man. They offer us the best moments in anime series. They literally build up all the hype for fight scenes and all sorts of crap. What is up, everyone? I'm Griffin E. Brandon, and today I'm going to be giving you all my top 10 favorite anime transformations. So let's get to it. Starting at number 10, we got Eren Yeager's Attack Titan form from Attack on Titan. Fun fact, actually, Attack on Titan was the first anime I've ever watched. I wouldn't exactly call it one of my all-time favorite anime, though I won't lie, whenever I see Eren going full Attack Titan mode, I get goosebumps. Seeing Eren's Titan form slowly start transforming from skeletons to flesh as yellow lightning scatters all around him, right as he's about to fight against other Titans, it just looks so cool. It gets so much better when he finishes it off with a sick roar. Roar! Unless you're, of course, hearing it on the English dub because it sounds like total shit. Now continue on to number 9, Yuji Itadori's Sukuna Curse from Jujutsu Kaisen.
You can see it, Maharaga! You can see my curse technique!
Just seeing Sukuna awaken in the Shibuya arc was one of the most chilling moments I've ever seen in an anime. I just love watching Sukuna show everyone who was boss. You could just feel the fear and the chills down the spine of the other characters as they realize who they're dealing with. Now I just want there to be more anime about the villains because the Shibuya arc was by far Sukuna's best moment. Now to number 8, Natsu Dragneel's Dragon Force from Fairy Tail Dragon Cry. Out of all of Natsu's forms, this one's definitely my favorite, and I hate how it's only in the movie. This dragon transformation got me real hyped. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this form was fire. Natsu unleashes the dragon within him and throws incinerating flames at anyone who hurts his friends. I honestly wish his dragon force was more like this in the anime series because it's more dragon-like. He's a dragon slayer, and this form fits so well. Now let's continue on to number 7, Naruto's Six Paths mode from Naruto Shippuden.
You see, I've obtained eternity!
We are the ones who are gonna take you down!
You awakened Six Paths Sage Juice. And you awakened One-Eyed Renegade. This is the final battle between us, once and for all.
Throughout the entire series, Naruto has gone through a whole bunch of transformations. His chakra forms going from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, on and on and on. Even his tail beast cloak forms from the way back in the beginning. But when he tapped into the Sage of the Six Paths, it is next level shit, man. Naruto can combine all of his jutsu to summon chaotic attacks like a lava and lightning tornadoes, or even a tsunami of shadow clones. I love how this transformation reflects on Naruto and Kurama's bond, and how they have grown to accept one another after years of distrusting and hating each other, considering the fact that Kurama was the reason everyone in the Hidden Leaf ostracized Naruto. Number 6. Mob's 100% mode from Mob Psycho. You know, whenever Mob gets overwhelmed by his emotions, he goes full on berserk and destroys everything and everyone in his path. I just love the irony in it. It gets better when opponents will look down on him, but when he goes 100%, they immediately see their own funerals. Now to number 5 on the list, Asa's Black Devil form from Black Clover. You see, Asa's a magicless dude, always fighting against all odds in a world filled with magic. Everything and everyone has magic, so everyone looks down on Asa, and that just freaking sucks. But when Asa transforms into his Black Devil form, he proves to everyone not to underestimate him, as it fuels up his anti-magic and slices down everything in. He just looks so vicious and badass at the same time. I just love it so much. It makes me love Black Clover. Definitely on one of my top 4 favorite anime. Speaking of number 4 on the list is Luffy's 4th Gear Bounce Man from One Piece. When facing Doflamingo and Dressrosa, Luffy combines the abilities of the Gum Gum Fruit and Haki to transform into a bouncing Hulk. This was the first transformation that got me laughing because he's literally a bouncing Hulk. His arms are so gigantic while his legs are small and scrawny. It is just hilarious seeing how angry Luffy looks when he's in Gear 4 while doing this and bouncing and just saying, "Bound to man!" Not to mention, the way he's transforming, it's like he's blowing himself up like a balloon. Even though it's a goofy transformation, it is still an awesome one. I'll always remember seeing Luffy make his fist so gigantic and punching Doflamingo straight underground and nearly just wiping out the entire city of Dressrosa. It was awesome. It is out of the Gear 4 forms, Snake Man, Take Man, and Bounce Man. Bounce Man is definitely my favorite one. This arc, Dressrosa arc, definitely proved that that transformation is definitely the best 4th Gear transformation. Now on to number 3, we got Escanor's The One form from 7 Deadly Sins.
ピークに達するのだ。時間にしてわずか1分、奴は無敵の権化となる。その名は The One.
Escanor's transformation is literally the ultimate power move in all of the 7 Deadly Sins. It's too OP, I'm not kidding, man. His magic makes him stronger as the sun rises, turning him from a scrawny bartender at night to a colossal war machine at daytime that melts everything in his path. And when it hits high noon, he becomes completely invincible. All it took was one attack to defeat all powerful demons and all sorts of other enemies. He was able to take down his own captain that was in one of his more powerful forms by just moving his hand like this. Holy sword, Escanor. And that's it. Now on to number 2 of the list, we got Denji's Chainsaw Devil form from Chainsaw Man. just mainly love how this transformation is just crazy and random. I have never heard of a fictional character have chainsaw powers. And now that I do, I can't help but admire how sick they look. It gives Denji chainsaw blades on his arms and a chainsaw for a head that got razor sharp teeth and makes him look like a chainsaw monster. I mean, it's just badass. And it looks cool how he transforms just by pulling a cord in the chest, like turning on a chainsaw. Now onto number 1 on the list, we got Luffy's Gear 5 from One Piece. Now, this is by far my all-time favorite transformation in any anime. I get super hyped every time I hear the drums of liberation because it lets me know Luffy's about to throw haymakers. It was so fun watching Luffy laugh maniacally. Bro literally grabbed a lightning bolt and threw it at him and then smashed an island right on him. He even used Kaido like a jump rope and it was just downright hilarious. It only gets better in later arcs as he's slamming people back and forth like in Looney Tunes. I got super hyped when Luffy was beating on his chest like Tarzan just to transform when he's going right up against Lucci. Well, that's all I got for my top 10 favorite anime transformations. Comment down what your favorite is and remember to stay animated, Indiana.
By now, you've all noticed that animation has been slowly disappearing from different platforms in different ways. If you haven't heard, well, let me break it down for you. A bunch of streaming services have been removing different animated projects from their platforms so they don't have to pay revenue to the creators and the artists who worked hard on them. Well, you can argue with that it's some conversation about negotiating contracts and such, and who has what in what rotation, but why? Why are companies like this? Since COVID, everything got pushed to streaming since cable was dying and people could sit at their house and watch anything they want instead of fighting with whatever was on TV. Now, in recent years, streaming services have become greedier and greedier with cracking down on password saving, removing media that was beloved and moving it somewhere else, or just straight up taking down their own content so it can't be viewed anywhere else. Not to mention just disrespect to animation as a whole. You hear all the time about the abusive animators, the terrible working conditions, and the little protections that some animators have. Add in a lot of disrespect from the industry as a whole as well.
So many kids watch these movies over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Hello, my name is Sky, and this segment has been a long time coming. Recently, Boomerang and Cartoon Network both shut down and urged subscribers and fans to go to Max to watch the content that used to be on their platforms. But Max also removed the shows from their platform. While there are other streaming services to watch these shows, that wasn't the case with all of them. What happens to the shows that don't have anywhere to go or didn't get sent to another platform? And if they were going to be taken off Max anyway, why would they have people directed to Max and possibly even making a new account to watch these shows only to have seemingly wasted their money since the shows weren't going to stay there anyway? This all comes down to corporate greed. They don't have to pay residuals. That just went up, by the way, via the SAG-AFTRA strike a year or so ago. If their shows are no longer streaming, no residuals. But these shows are still showing in some places, just not on Max. Not to mention that the Cartoon Network building straight up shut down, and there are other fan favorite projects that were canceled. Now, what shows were affected by this? The most recent to be removed were Ben 10, Steven Universe, Regular Show, the 2016 remake of the Powerpuff Girls, The Amazing World of Gumball, We Bare Bears, and Chowder! It's even more frustrating when you remember, as previously mentioned,
Warner Brothers was promoting Max as Cartoon Network's new home.
They have it relatively lucky. They still have placement on other services. Ben 10's on Netflix, and Steven Universe, Regular Show, Powerpuff Girls Reboot, Amazing World of Gumball, We Bare Bears, and Chowder are all on Hulu. But that's not the point. Why advertise and brag about how you're going to be the new legacy streaming platform of Cartoon Network if you're just going to axe them not long after the Cartoon Network site shut down? Let's talk about the unlucky titles that were just removed from Max. In 2022, when they were merged with Discovery or whatever, they removed 36 titles from their platform. Here are the ones you can't watch on anything else: Aquaman King of Atlantis, Close Enough, Elliot from Earth, Infinity Train, Mau Mau Heroes of Pure Heart, Mighty Magiswords, OKKO Let's Be Heroes, and Summer Camp Island, to name a few. All of these releases now require you to purchase them separately on a different platform or buy physical copies of. Some of these shows didn't even get sets. They were released individually, so not only do you have to try to track down the physical DVDs, but you also have to see if they're even offering all of them, assuming they had physical releases of the whole series anyway. Back then, the only explanation we got from the multi-billion-dollar company was, as we work toward bringing our content catalogs together under one platform, we will be making changes to the content offering available on both HBO Max and Discovery Plus. That will include the removal of some content from both platforms. At the same time, we've already started to bring our content catalogs together, like the launch of the new CNN Originals Hub on Discovery Plus, and a curated collection of Magnolia Network content coming soon to HBO Max. What kind of answer is that? So even back when they were planning to keep the content on Max, but it appears their views on that have changed since then. I'm not sure what anybody's doing with the Cartoon Network shows right now, but it's still really infuriating. Not to mention that this disrespect for animation is visible in award shows as well. Animation is always made fun of at the Oscars, where overpaid celebrities talk about how, oh, your kids probably make you watch these shows, or, oh, if you haven't seen these, it's okay, we didn't either. It's disgusting how animation is treated, even by the people in the industry. What's infuriating me the most is the fact that there are platforms removing their own original content. Netflix is reportedly removing the Voltron remake, Voltron Legendary Defender, from its platform December 7th. It's removing its own original show on December 7th of this year. Whether you like Voltron or not, they're testing the waters. When crap like this happens, it's always the companies testing the waters to see what they can get rid of and what the consumer will tolerate while still paying for their platform. Even moving away from removals, how many shows have you watched that had a lot of potential get the axe before they even had a chance to stand on their own feet? Or had rushed endings because of their cancellations. Inside Job got canceled after a cliffhanger at the end of their second season. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, oh, I'm sorry, paused. The Owl House got canceled early, but luckily got enough time for a pretty decent ending. BoJack Horseman, again, got a pretty decent ending despite the cancellation. The Ghost and Molly McGee, Dead End Paranormal Park, the Thundercats 2011 reboot, and so many more. Good animated stories with a lot of developmental potential get canceled only for shows like Velma and Big Mouth to keep getting more and more funding and seasons. Don't even get me started about the treatment of the animators in the industry. The most recent example I can think of was the treatment of the animators of Inside Out 2. Disney treated their workers horrendously. 175 animators who worked on Inside Out 2 were laid off before the movie was released, so they couldn't receive a bonus once the movie was done. Those bonuses were huge for the people who worked on the movie because the one for Elemental was much smaller, and they didn't even receive one for Lightyear. Pixar won't even take risks with stories anymore because of Lightyear, because they blame the movie failing on one blink and you'll miss it queer kiss during the film. Yes, Disney, gay people are why your movie failed. Definitely not because it's just a bad movie. Crunch times are unfortunately commonplace in a lot of animation as well. The animators who worked on the Spider-Verse films especially. It would be putting it lightly to say they were treated like garbage. Over 100 animators left the project because of unsustainable conditions. They were working 11-hour days, not to mention what they had to keep redoing. So, imagine for a second, you're one of the animators. You just finished working on a scene, fully animated and rendered. You're super proud of it. Now imagine your boss comes over and tells you, do it all over again. Now you have to scrap what you just animated and start from scratch. I love the Spider-Verse movies. Phil Lord needs to go. He's a monster to his animators and he needs to be booted from any future projects with anything animation. I'm not afraid to say that. He's abusive. Did I mention these animators aren't unionized? They have no protections either. It's not fair for animation to be treated this way. Multi-billion-dollar companies like Sony and Warner Brothers can afford to pay their workers a living wage, give them enough time to work on it ethically and without abuse. And yet they don't. I also can't stand when they can't seem to wrap their heads around why people are pirating everything so much. If you can't provide an ethical and legal way to consume content, people are naturally going to turn to other alternatives. You don't want people pirating your stuff? Do things ethically and stop destroying content that people enjoyed for a couple of dollars in write-offs. Animation matters. Just because you don't like animation doesn't mean it isn't cinema. Animation isn't just for kids, and it shouldn't be treated as such. This was a really long rant, but it was necessary. Clearly the show wouldn't exist if people didn't care about animation. Fight on the side of animation, and please, for the love of God, stay animated, Indiana.